Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's. Hold on. I thought I heard something. It's probably fine. Anyways, June on the Range. Thought I'd take a look at some Weird Westerns by Robert E. Howard. So the first Weird Western is The Horror from the Mound. And this is about a greedy guy who uncovers a buried vampire and kills it with wrestling moves. And then you've got The Valley of the Lost. This is during a gunfight, a sniper takes refuge in a cave filled with ancient evil and exhausting lore dumps. This one was pretty good until the sniper goes in the cave and Robert E. Howard felt like he had to explain the lineage of this evil creature that lived in the cave since like the dawn of time. Then you've got The Man on the Ground. In this one, a hate-filled feud gives a gunslinger a supernatural ability to go beyond death. Definitely not an upbeat tale. And you've got Old Garfield's Heart. This is where a man receives a heart of a Lepon chief's ghost, and he lives beyond his years. This one was pretty gory with a lot of blood and guts. Now, one thing I want to say about Robert E. Howard in general is that unfortunately sometimes he conflates ethnic and racial minorities with the eldritch and bizarre, and that was definitely present in the last two stories I took a look at, The Thunder Rider and The Dead Remember. So for The Thunder Rider, a young Comanche man is basically living in white society and gets bored with that. So he goes to a medicine man and goes through a mystical ritual which transports him into a magical land. And then while in that magical land, he's transported into another magical land and then has a sword and sorcery adventure. Once he finally got to the sword and sorcery adventure, it was pretty good, but it took a while to get to that point, and it was never really resolved what happened with this guy's lifestyle. And then finally, The Dead Remember. Unfortunately, this story uses the N-word a lot. It's about a white guy who gambles with a black guy, and when the black guy wins, the white guy gets all upset and kills the black guy and the black guy's wife. And the black guy's wife, she is like a witch, and she curses this white dude, and a series of unfortunate events continue to happen to him until he's finally killed in a horrific accidental way. So, on the surface, yeah, this is using some racist language, but there's also a part of me that wonders, here we have a story about a black man who's murdered by a white man and then takes supernatural revenge. Is this some kind of 5D social justice chess? Probably not, but it makes you think. So overall, I think I actually enjoyed the standard westerns by Robert E. Howard more than the Weird Westerns. I felt like for the Weird Westerns, Robert E. Howard kind of went out of his way to explain these supernatural things in kind of a lore dumpy way, and it slowed down the pace and muddied the waters a bit. Whereas with the pure Westerns, things felt a little more straightforward and refined. I will say, however, that I really liked the first story, The Horror from the Mound, just because it was so clear-cut, there were no lore dumps in it, and it was just a great tale of this guy out on the range trying to dig up an old burial mound, thinking he's going to find some gold, and finding a vampire and killing it with some wrestling moves, of all things. So I'm not familiar enough with Westerns to give this a star rating, but the Weird Westerns by Robert E. Howard, I definitely had a good time with them, and check them out. They're a worthwhile read for June on the Range. Okay, I'm going inside now. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well. Hey, if you read my first book carefully, you might notice that the Vizier of Peace is wearing a cowboy hat the whole time, and that's in there as a nod to the Stanley Kubrick film Dr. Strangelove.